what separates those who get ahead from those who don't. It isn't motivation, it isn't talent, and it isn't even discipline, at least, not the way you probably think about discipline. The real secret is simple, and it's what rewires your brain, your habits, and your entire future. Force yourself to be consistent. Not once, not twice, but every single time you said you would. When every instinct says stop, when your body aches and your mind begs for relief, forcing yourself to stay consistent is the moment that will change your life forever. If you want to create an unstoppable transformation in your life, you need the blueprint that high achievers, elite athletes, and top creators use, all science-backed and rooted in how your brain actually works. So if you're ready to rewire your habits and reprogram your future, you're in the right place. Before we dive in, don't forget to hit subscribe and smash that bell on the Growth Mindset Project so you never miss neuroscience-backed lessons designed for your next breakthrough. Here's what most people get wrong. They keep looking for a trick, a quote, or a podcast that will suddenly blast their motivation through the roof and turn them into a machine. But your brain isn't interested in your big dreams. It doesn't care about your vision boards or New Year resolutions. What it actually cares about, what it's built to respond to, are patterns, repetition, the behaviors you perform again and again. Your nervous system isn't shaped by your intentions, or your feelings, or your fleeting bursts of excitement. It is shaped by action. The reality is, elite performers don't run from hard days. In fact, they anticipate them. They know what neuroscience shows. The more you force yourself to be consistent, especially when it's hard, the deeper you ingrain those behaviors into your brain's wiring. It's called neuroplasticity, and the most important plasticity window, the time your brain is most eager to change, is exactly when you want to quit. The struggle, the boredom, the discomfort, the fatigue, if you keep acting in those moments, you actually encode resilience, not rigidity, into your neural circuits. Consistency you force in hardship leads to real, lasting transformation. Now, some people are going to tell you that motivation is the key, but neuroscience tells a different story. Motivation is unreliable. It fluctuates based on sleep, mood, nutrition, environment, cycles in your chemistry. Motivation can be a spark, but it is not a foundation you can build your life on. Instead, the structure, what actually remodels your mind, is forced consistency. You do the thing even when it feels impossible, when you have zero motivation left in your tank. The beauty here is that every time you override your reluctance, every time you get up without dopamine giving you a happy push, you're teaching your prefrontal cortex, your executive center, to take over. You're learning self-command. And if you repeat this, eventually your brain doesn't just expect the reward from finishing, but from the process. You become chemically reinforced not by the outcome, but by the act of showing up. That's the feedback loop your brain needs. This is how you reshape your identity. If you only act when you feel like it, you don't give your brain the pattern it needs to remodel your circuits, but force yourself to act, day after day, even for 5 minutes. And you tell your nervous system, this matters, invest resources here, make this easier for me next time. That's the difference between people who try and those who transform. Forced consistency, under strain, becomes who they are, not what they do occasionally. If you're finding value in this video, take a moment now, like the video, and let me know down in the comments. Where do you need to force consistency in your life right now? Here's another thing most people never learn. Your brain is always listening and adapting, especially when things get tough. When boredom sets in, when struggle and resistance show up, your instincts scream to quit. But in neuroscience, those emotional states mean you've entered the zone where true adaptation can happen. Boredom isn't a signal to pivot. It's an invitation to change. Discomfort isn't a sign to avoid. It's proof you're pushing your boundaries. Force yourself through these moments. That's called friction tolerance, and it's what separates those who plateau from those who make extraordinary gains. When you choose to operate in that space, doing the work when it's no longer novel or fun, you train both your brain and your biology. You're not just increasing willpower, you're initiating neurological changes that make action under stress easier and easier. Each time you fight through, your nervous system encodes your effort as the new baseline. The more you repeat, the stronger the pathway becomes. But beware. If you always break promises to yourself, always escape discomfort, your brain will encode retreat as the response. That's how identity is actually built, through behavior, not philosophy. The brain isn't inspired by your potential, it's rewired by your patterns. Let me give you a quick reminder. If you're finding these insights eye-opening, remember to like this video, subscribe to the Growth Mindset Project, and comment below. Which area of your life needs more forced consistency? Your health? Focus? Creativity? Let's build this journey together. Back to the science. Your system runs on feedback. Every repetition, especially under pressure, strengthens the neural pathway for self-command. Over time, what started as a forced, uphill battle gradually becomes reflexive, automatic. You no longer have to talk yourself into showing up. Your system expects and even craves that discipline. That's the secret of high performers. They don't just have self-discipline, they are self-discipline, because they've hardwired it. But it's not just about being tough, it's about exposure and adaptation. Every time you override the urge to quit, you engage networks in your brain for self-control, emotional regulation, and focus. This is how you build resilience, not just mentally, but biologically. Eventually, what felt overwhelming becomes manageable, even familiar. You're now immune to the ups and downs of mood, cravings, or the chaos of your environment. Forced consistency wires your entire nervous system to perform under stress, to face discomfort, to execute without asking permission from your feelings. And that, right there, is what builds real confidence. Not because challenges disappear, but because you get stronger at the level of mind, brain, and body. When you push through, your nervous system is literally learning. Stress is not a threat, but a signal that you're working at your limit and about to grow. Think of it like this. The moments when you most want to quit, those are your system's greatest opportunity. If you back down, you build fragility. If you force yourself to keep going, you build resilience and strength into who you are. The lessons compound. Your baseline shifts. The things that used to break you don't. The things that once seemed impossible now feel routine. This is why transformation never happens in comfort. It's built in the trenches, on those days you execute when you have every excuse not to. That is where your brain, your habits, and your whole identity are literally rewritten. And it's not a one-time victory, it's compounding. Every time you force yourself, especially in the hard moments, you expand your capacity for the next battle. So, if you're stuck, waiting for things to get easier, or holding out for a wave of motivation, you're misunderstanding how change actually works. You don't act because you feel ready because you act, over and over, until your nervous system adapts. Force yourself, and eventually, what was once a conscious battle becomes your unconscious baseline. If this resonates, don't let it stop here. For more breakthroughs on transforming your mindset and rewiring your habits, check out our other videos and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode from the Growth Mindset Project. Your next level is waiting.